Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. XRP changes everything. When it comes to settlement, the way that money moves around the world, XRP changes everything. I've got a cool piece from Ripple. Ripple the company, not the decentralized cryptocurrency, because the two are quite different. I've got a piece from them came out yesterday, and I want to run through it with you. So that'll be the bulk of the content. I've also got a piece, though, from Cointelegraph titled, Nevada regulators say Bitcoin ATMs will need license to operate. And I found this quite fascinating as well. So I'll be talking about both those things. But before we get going here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you'd be so kind, subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. I'm telling you, there are worse ways to spend your time than listening to my beautiful, soothing voice. All right, let's hop in here. So again, this title, Why We Settle Global Payments Should Be Fast and Cheap by Team Ripple. In the retail and service industries, customers face inherent trade-offs, good, cheap, fast. It is commonly thought that a company, product, or service can achieve two of the three, but it is nearly impossible to find an offering that incorporates all. McDonald's is fast and cheap, but far from a Michelin-star dining experience. Oh, I disagree. No, I'm kidding. BMW delivers the ultimate driving experience, but you'll have to pay for it. You can fly to Denver rather inexpensively on Spirit, but the experience will never live up to Singapore Airlines. Healthcare poses myriad examples: access to care, disease treatments, or even receiving diagnoses. However, with the advent of digital business models, we have seen an increasing number of companies achieving the trifecta of all three elements across industries such as insurance, Lemon, entertainment, Netflix, communications, Skype, and healthcare, Teladoc. Amazon is a particularly relatable example. The lack of a costly physical retail footprint, state-of-the-art logistics, and an ever-increasing inventory has allowed Amazon to achieve high standards of good, cheap, and fast. That said, in urban areas, it is still faster to cross the street to Walgreens and purchase items on demand. Perhaps that is why Amazon sees value in building some form of physical footprint, retail stores with frictionless fast checkout. In cross-border payments, particularly for individual payments, aka remittances, there is a parallel to the good, cheap, fast adage. In ethnographic and survey-based research across thousands of individuals, we are constantly reminded that remitters care about four things more than anything else. 1. Reliability. Often defined as certainty of payment, reliability is knowing that a payment will indeed arrive, and with a confirmation when it does. 2. Speed. The faster the payment arrives, the greater peace of mind for everyone. 3. Convenience. While this could be defined differently for everyone, it is best expressed as, can I make this payment with as little effort as possible? 4. Cost. This is self-explanatory and the least surprising requirement. As with good, cheap, fast, these key elements are inherently at odds when it comes to cross-border payments. For many, going to their bank for cross-border payments is a reliable venture. I trust my bank, even if it does take 3 days, won't lose my money. However, most remittance payments happen outside of the formal banking channel. Companies like Western Union have grown their business to provide highly convenient and fast means to send payment, but these companies are hardly inexpensive, demanding up to 10% of the transaction value. With the advent of the internet, we have seen the proliferation of digital-only payment providers. Like most online businesses, these payment providers are thriving by undercutting fees of the traditional players. However, as subjects of the same inefficient correspondent banking network, speed is often limited. The greatest trade-off of these four elements is between speed and cost. When it comes to reliability and convenience, these are manageable attributes and become increasingly so as more consumers come online and adopt modern mobile technology. The proliferation of digital wallets for payment services, even amongst the unbanked, has been a widespread phenomenon. So why would speed and cost be at odds? To answer this, we must look at the difficulties of moving money between currencies and the institutions that are licensed to handle these transactions. Even though most remittances happen outside of traditional banks, banks are the critical layer to any cross-border fiat payment system today, providing settlement and foreign exchange capabilities for global payments. However, cross-border settlement through this system is far from instantaneous, due to a function of batch processing, limited bank operating hours, and fragmented providers and systems. However, this doesn't make speed impossible. It just requires a workaround through something called pre-funding. That is, having accounts in the destination countries with enough capital to make the payout to a receiver, quote, instant. This itself may solve for the speed dilemma, but now we're back to the issue of cost. A series of respondent and correspondent network participants utilized by bank and non-bank remittance providers adds costs to the complexity. Cost increases significantly, as much as 35% according to McKinsey, when a payment provider opens, maintains, and pre-funds accounts around the world. The risk, cost, and hassle creates an immense burden, which is passed along to the end user in the form of fees or disadvantageous exchange rates. The critical next question, which we will explore in our next post, is simply, do we have to accept that there will always be a trade-off between speed and cost? Stay tuned. Isn't that an awesome piece? And I think we already know the answer, even without having access to the next piece yet. You don't have to have a trade, and it's thanks to a distributed ledger technology. Without the blockchain, this was quite literally impossible to solve this problem because it comes down to trust. That's exactly what it is. If somebody said, what is the fundamental change here? It's that trust is no longer required. That was the actual hurdle with all of this. I mean, there's more to it. There's payments, of course, and that's part of the process as well. But as it pertains to settlement specifically, and actually moving the money around the world, it's because people don't trust each other. They don't trust entities that they don't know. And it takes a long time to build new relationships and to build trust and to put money in each other's banks so that you have pre-funded accounts. And then there are exotic corridors requiring more entities in between, and that's the nature of the correspondent banking system, but it comes down purely to a lack of trust. That's the reason this is a problem. And that's also the reason that only a decentralized cryptocurrency that has a true market value and is not backed by anything else, not backed by gold, not backed by a fiat currency, not backed by magical jelly beans, that's the only way that you can solve this problem. And again, it was not technologically possible prior to the advent of blockchain. It's amazing what's coming here. And that's why I am so excited, and then this is financial advice, but I'm so excited to have put some of my money, a responsible amount, into XRP because I think it could be worth substantially more than it is today, and I think most of the world doesn't even have a clue what's coming here. I think they have no freaking idea. And we're just talking about one use case with XRP. There are other use cases out there. And then you got to understand that it's not just to be utilized as a bridge currency. And there needs to be an actual market value for it to be used as a bridge currency, first of all. But that gives confidence in terms of staying power, right, if it's actually being used. And then you've got institutional buyers that are going to come in because, look, there are many institutional investors out there that are managing billions and billions and billions in assets. And they're going to want to diversify when they see that there's an asymmetrical opportunity, a return opportunity that could be offering asymmetrical returns anyway. That's what this asset class has to offer, and perhaps there's some evidence to show that it's not correlated to other asset classes in terms of price movement. Not everybody agrees on that, but there seems to be some data. I just covered a little bit of that towards the end of my last video. That's what Dan Moore of Pantera Capital seems to think anyway. So I think it's the coolest thing in the world, and XRP is going to change everything. And it's not just this. When you consider this in conjunction with Interledger Protocol and everything else that's happening, Ripple's vision of the Internet of Value, the idea of moving value as easily as you can send a text message today, it's coming. It's technologically possible. It's no longer a question of, is this possible? It technologically is. It's a matter of who's going to find success going for this use case. And as it pertains to specifically to cross-border payments, nobody on the planet, no other company on the planet is doing what Ripple is doing. They are the only ones. Coolest thing in the world to me. All right, let me hop into the next piece here. This is from Cointelegraph. Nevada regulators say Bitcoin ATMs will need license to operate. In a statement first reported on by local news media outlet Nevada Current on August 28th, the state's finance regulator, the Financial Institutions Division of the Department of Business and Industry, NFID, said ATM operators must conform to existing rules. Any entity that facilitates the transmission of or holds fiat or digital currency by way of brick and mortar, kiosk, mobile, internet, or any other means should contact the NFID to request a licensure determination, it reads. The statement references a legislative session early in 2019, during which lawmakers failed to pass SB 195, an amendment to licensing rules which would affect ATM owners. Several laws pertaining to money transmission, NRS Chapter 671 and 679, are also mentioned. Over time, the NFID has monitored the growth and expansion of the blockchain, Bitcoin, and virtual currency industries, the statement summarizes. And it continues, quote, recently, several businesses and interested persons contacted the NFID to determine if a license was required to operate within the state of Nevada. Based upon the business model presented, a license may have been required for money transmission under NRS Chapter 671. Check this out, though. This is okay. One development in Nevada, but I like the subheading here. Bitcoin ATM industry keeps expanding. According to the monitoring resource Coin ATM Radar, Nevada currently has 110 Bitcoin ATMs. The United States itself has more machines than any other country, accounting for almost 3,500 of the global total of 5,500. The sector continues to see considerable growth, despite claims patronage is low due to the increased fees associated with using them versus online alternatives. In June, the mayor of the Canadian city of Vancouver suggested ATMs should be banned altogether due to money laundering concerns, which of course is a completely bogus argument. If you want to launder money, don't use a blockchain that is not anonymous. That's dumb. Don't be stupid. Be a good criminal. Whatever. That's it. I better wrap this up. I gotta go. I'm leaving. I gotta go see my moon bae, and I will see if I can trick her into joining me for another video at some point over the weekend. I don't know. If she says yes, I'd love to have her on from time to time. So maybe tomorrow. Who knows? I'll see if she's interested. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!